live long and prosper.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
I grab Thar's hammer. What a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey, old Kermit the Frog.
Bow ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome back to A Play on Nerds. I'm Steve. This other guy is
Jarman. Good to see you guys again.
and we're here to co-host the hell out of this. Guys, this is a very special episode.
Very special.
And guys, I know I've said that before.
Many times.
Many times. But I want you to know I was lying every other one of those times.
This time.
This is the one. This is the one, everyone.
Why is it so special, Steve?
well, it's special because it's the triumphant return of our newfound favorite, Nerd Roll of Fortune.
We don't know what we're going to talk about in the main segment because we're going to roll for it on a chart that was given to us by an AI chat GPT generator. So we'll figure out what nerdy topic we'll be talking about later. And you already know it because it'll be on the title.
It's the closest we can get to being enslaved by robots right now.
It'll come eventually, entirely.
We're getting there.
But what have you been up to since we last recorded was 3 days ago?
Oh, man. Well, I didn't get to talk about a lot then, but we had a family wedding.
That's right.
My cousin Tessa and her now husband Dave finally tied the knot. Very exciting. Congratulations to them. Dave, I think, listens.
Oh, nice.
Maybe. So congratulations, Dave.
Woo. Happy
to have you, both as a listener and as a family member.
Great couple.
And so because of that, we just had a weekend of family stuff. Because people were coming into town, and there were lots of travels happening. So Friday, got off work a little bit early, went to a pierogi dinner at my aunt's place.
Pierogies.
With
nice.
like 10 to 15, maybe 20 balance. And then Saturday, got up, had to do some chores and stuff, and then got ready, drove downtown, went to the wedding, which was short and sweet. They did it right. Had dinner. They had the classic Pittsburgh cookie table, which is like it's like a requirement in Pittsburgh.
I don't know about this.
So for weddings, your family members, female family members, everyone has like their signature cookie they make.
Oh.
And you'll make between I think Anna ended up making 4 dozen to contribute, but some people talk about making like 12 dozen, like these crazy quantities. And the idea is that there's like this big table and all the cookies are laid out and like that's dessert.
Not the cake. Okay.
Right. The cake is like, I don't even think there was cake. There might have been cake. But yeah, like the cookie table is the dessert then.
Right.
And it's very much like an expected staple of Pittsburgh weddings.
Interesting.
And then we got up the next day and we went and drove down and did like a late lunch and day down at the river at my uncle's church.
Oh, yeah. You talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah. So we went there and had some time down by the river and the kids got to float and we got to have good family time and see, 20 Baumans again. And then Monday, we just kept it low. We did some chores around the house. We finally went grocery shopping.
All the exciting stuff.
Took a day to take a breath.
Yes. Much
all
needed.
The family stuff. And now I'm just working for the weekend,
Everybody's working up. Copyright.
Steve is working for the weekend.
Yes. She's working too with them kids.
That's right.
Me, since 3 days ago when we last talked, my lady has been out of town for a long time. She was gone for 3 days, probably the longest we've been apart since we've been together for the last 4 years. But she was doing a work conference type of thing in Tallahassee, which is the capital of Florida. And so I was here at the hospital myself. I haven't left a single time the entire time she's been gone. I ate all the food that was in the house that was easily edible, and then I ordered twice. So I saved a lot of money.
The house is filled with farts.
Hopefully
just filled to the brim.
So I work all day, and then I did get a chance to finally purchase and start playing Diablo 4, which is fun.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yes, and Steve and I both played, I think, both Diablos as kids. Like, we love 1 and 2.
What did you roll up?
I did a thief, or rogue, rather.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. Once I finally
Are
watched
you playing on PC or on a console?
PC.
All right. I think we can still play together.
Yeah, crossplay. I did some crossplay with a couple people the other night for the first time. One was on PC as well, but the other guy is on Xbox Series X or whatever it is. And we could all play together and talk to each other and everything with voice chat and everything. So you and I should do that, Steve. It'll be fun.
Yes.
What'd you roll up?
My main is a necromancer.
Ah.
I found it a really easy bone build.
Nice.
That's like, I just walk through the game now.
Very cool. I'm getting that way too now, finally.
I did roll up a druid at first and really struggled.
I watched a video saying they're hard to play for a first time through. Like, you need to get maybe a second character as a druid or something.
Well, basically what I've heard is like they just all their stuff doesn't come online until they get to like 50.
Right. Power through it.
So many of their builds are gear dependent.
Right. And I think
like
one of the things
you don't have this one specific thing, the whole thing doesn't work. You know, like that kind of stuff.
It kind of sucks that one item can break a whole build, basically. But one thing I don't like, if anyone out there played the originals, is I played 1 and 2 and finally played 3 just like last month. Because I hadn't played that over the last 11 years it's been out. Was that you could always clear a room or clear a whole map because you're playing by yourself unless you directly connect to a server with other people. You could clear a whole map, and if you do come back later on, it will repopulate. But you could clear a whole place at least once, and then you can feel good that you accomplished that. I destroyed every barrel, I killed every guy in the dungeon, and I felt completed. You know, I'm a completionist. And so I walk into this Diablo 4, and suddenly it's like World of Warcraft, this MMORPG where it's always online. You can't not be online. But also like
open. Yeah,
and also the creatures keep respawning. They don't stop ever. So if you don't move, those respawn on top of you. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like, I can't. And so I keep trying to look up online guides for beginners of how to play this game. And every beginner guide I start watching on YouTube, it claims to be a beginner's guide. And then it just throws out all these terms. I have no idea what they mean about crafting at level 90. You'll need this for this and this and this. I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. Like, where's an actual beginner's guide? So I finally found something. He's like way down on the list of people that have views. For someone, he explained it step by step in more of a review because he was reviewing the beta at first and explaining the basic functions of the game. I was like, oh, okay, this all makes much more sense now because it is a lot more complicated than Diablo 2 for sure, and maybe closer to Diablo 3. But man, it's like an MMO out there. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
No, absolutely. There's way more stuff. It's interspersed at much larger level gaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things are just so far apart from each other. Like, it feels obscene at times how far things are from each other in this game.
It's like they're trying to make a Skyrim type of map of scale, you know, like that big. But
well, and like you can eventually get a horse, but I feel like it's way too late.
What level do you get a horse even? I know it's that quest to finish, but when is that?
I don't know. I think you can complete it at 30, I think.
Have you gotten there 30 yet?
No, I think I'm at 29.
Okay, cool. You're a little above me then.
But it's one of those things where I was like, why couldn't this be like like Red Dead Redemption? Like, you get a crappy horse at first, and then you can get better horses.
Yeah, we call that one old Droopy Saddlebag over there. That's his name.
Droopy Saddlebag.
He's only $5.
Hey, he's still got 2 good legs.
He kind of drags the 2 back legs behind him, but you'll get to where you're going eventually.
Yeah, but the carts are going to hold him up. You're not going to know the difference, mister.
It might
2 bits.
It might be faster to walk, though. Come on, Dutch, get off.
Oh, he is going to need you to walk beside him. If you ride him, it'll be his head.
He's also emotionally unstable, so you might want to get him the oat
bit,
bag.
Mister, that's my final offer.
All right, 1 bit. Yeah, why don't they have that horse at least to start off with? That'd be great.
But you have to carry him to your pickup.
He's only going to walk if he's attached to that cart. That ain't going to work. Oh, my God. Well, that brings us some nerdy news.
It's time for Nerdy News.
All right, folks. And I want to mention at the beginning of the episode, I totally forgot, but we are now putting in the descriptions of the episodes timestamps where you can skip to the different parts of the episode if you don't like certain sections or if you're losing interest or you want to move around. Apparently, it's a thing kids do these days that makes episodes more accessible to people if they're not a fan of certain segments. They'll be available in the descriptions of the episodes on YouTube and on any podcatcher of your choice. Just scroll down a bit, you'll see the timestamps. You can skip to where you want to go if you so choose. But listen to the whole episode. We're great guys.
You could stop being a punk and just listen to everything.
That's right. So my nerdy news story is Cosmic Confessions. Whistleblower spills UFO tea. So we have...
Hell?
You just wait. This is a big story. It's been in the New York Post. It's been on CNN and different networks, BBC. An Air Force veteran and former Government Intelligence Office official has come forward after co-leading the United Aerial Phenomenon Investigations Group for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. Whew, that's a lot of words. But yeah, there was that organization was in the news maybe last year, 2 years ago, when all these videos were released to the government, to the public, of naval officers and Air Force officers seeing all these flying vehicles. And so they've created a task force to study this. And this guy was the co-lead of it. Now he's come out as a whistleblower of sorts. He's saying that while he was in the UAP task force, he spoke with politicians, longtime intelligence officials, and military folks, and they all told him that we have a whole bunch of alien technology and downed aircraft over the decades. And he says that we're currently trying to reverse engineer it, but to little success so far. And he says that they told him that there are also non-human bodies to go along with these craft as well. Now, we've heard rumors of this for a long time, but he's the first person to come out who had the actual credentials and recent experience with an actual task force that was tasked with finding out this stuff. And one thing he says is, I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. People started to confide in me, approaching me. I had plenty of senior former intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me that they were part of a program. They named the program, and I'd never heard of it. They told me based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof that there was in fact a program that the UAP task force was not read into. And he won't come right out and say they're aliens, but he did say that they're non-human beings and non-human technology that's far advanced from ours. He says, I couch it as somebody who has studied physics where, maybe they're coming from a different physical dimension as described by in quantum mechanics. We know there are extra dimensions due to high energy particle collisions, etc. And there's a theoretical framework to explain that. So they could be extra dimensional deep beings. They could be aliens. He hasn't claimed to know. And he said he tried to get more information through official channels, but was repeatedly shut down. So even though he's revealing secret information, he decided to utilize an actual law we have here in the U.S. called the Whistleblower Act, or whistleblower laws, that protects him from revealing information that would have been top secret or under an NDA. And the last little thing I'll say is, he said, they asked him why he thinks this is important. He says, it's totally nuts that humanity has, as a whole, especially the U.S. citizenry, that they're not even benefiting from this broad research into this propulsion, energy issues, material science, and that could all improve people's quality of life. He says, it's just totally nuts how it's been protected and inhibits progress. But do we believe this guy, Steve? What do we think? I'm guessing no.
I don't know. I'm going to go with my standard response, which is pics or it didn't happen, bro.
I agree. He's got a lot of secret sources that he can't mention, supposedly, who showed him photos and documents. I'm like, well, can we get some of those photos and documents? Otherwise, you're just saying stuff. And when I heard that he was an intelligence official, he was the Air Force and this UAP task force, but he's only 36 years old. So I'm like, that kind of just lessens his credibility for me. I know it shouldn't because he's old enough to have accomplished things, but he's a 36-year-old. I'm 37, so I don't know. I don't know anything about aliens. But it's probably
now's the time. Now's when you make something up.
That's right.
Get on the news a little bit.
So he's apparently part of this investigation trial thing that's going to go on for a while to try to force them to release this information as part of a whistleblower trial. So that'll take months to complete. But he seems like he's making a legit effort, and they have confirmed through the news outlets that he did work in all the places he said he worked. So he's not making that up. So it's interesting to say the least. I don't know what will come out of it, but it's interesting. It'd be hard to cover all that stuff up for that many years, but we'll see. But that brings us to our next segment, our Nerd Roll of Fortune.
Da, da, da. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
So first what we do is we roll a D20 to find the category of thing we're going to talk about, and then a D10 to decide what subtopic.
Do you want to do the D20 or the D10?
I'll do the D10. You do the D20.
All right. Survey says a 1.
A 1. All right.
Nat 1.
That's the first time we got a 1. It's movie reviews and discussions.
Ooh, okay.
We're up right up that category. And rolling my D10 right now, it's a 9. All right. So this is a pretty broad topic, but still we can discuss it in whatever way we want. Superhero films, Marvel, DC, and beyond. So, what do we think about that? Are we having superhero fatigue, Steve? Is that happening soon, do you think?
I don't know. So here's the thing. The genre, I think, is doing fine. I think that Marvel, especially Disney, I guess, is doing a good job of opening a lot of very unique facets for Marvel to get out. So you get things like What If, you get the standalone things like WandaVision. You get highly serious things like Loki. You get animated stuff that I'm not even really fully aware of that Disney is pumping out in droves now that they own all this stuff. And they've you get what the Halloween thing. What was it? Werewolf by Midnight?
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one.
You get very diverse things like that, which is sort of reinvigorate the genre and keep it fresh, because we are seeing new things out of the genre. It is not the same thing over and over again.
Right, like we have the animated Spider-Man movies. Those are very, very different and interesting in their own way. Like, not really.
And like, Moon Knight was like very singular. Nothing else really like it in the Marvel universe, but still highly entertaining.
Yeah, I think they have to start diversifying, like you're saying, where they make so much content that maybe you finally can no longer watch all of it and keep up with all of it, but then make it so where you don't really have to, because, well, I only like the sitcom style ones like She-Hulk and that kind of thing, or I only like the cartoons, or I only like the movies. Like, you can kind of choose and not watch all of them because they're so different.
I do fear that there is such, there was one sort of period of time on Disney Plus, sort of mid-pandemic, where it felt like there was always some new Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Like, always some big new Marvel thing. And I got to the point where I was like, man, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's too much.
Like Hawkeye and, Loki, which was great, of course, and WandaVision, which was interesting. And, and then you got to get ready for Miss Marvel. Oh, and then you got this. I was like, oh my God.
They were just churning them out.
Oh, and then What If season 1 is oh my God, please guys, just calm down. I'm nauseous.
the Groot shorts. You got to watch the Groot shorts.
Groot shorts. But it was just, and I feel like they're finally backing off of that. I think like Disney hit the panic button with streaming. It was like, we got to get as much crap out there as possible.
Because no one's going to theaters, so they do something.
Well, yeah, people were consuming streaming content in droves.
Right.
Like, just in proportions never thought of.
Well, it's weird because it was summertime, and I'm like, where have all the blockbusters been this summer? Because I was like, what's the last Marvel movie that came out? And I realized it was Ant-Man Quantumania back in May. And I'm like, is there not another movie coming out from Marvel in the summer? And there's not. The only thing coming out in the summer from Marvel is Secret Invasion, which, as of the time of recording this, I think the first episode came out last night.
Yeah.
That looks cool, but it's like, so they had basically Quantumania in May, and then in June they have Secret Invasion. I think that's it, which is kind of weird for Marvel in the summertime.
I'm glad they're taking breaks. I'm glad that the writer's strike is going to kind of like force them.
That too. Yeah.
To take breaks.
I can imagine.
And like, mind you, they have a ton of scripts and they have a ton of material to pull from.
Yeah, never ending.
They would have to have everything completed, and they'd have to do it without like a showrunner, basically.
Well, they just had 2 big hits to their lead characters they were banking on, which is Jonathan Majors playing Kang.
Yeah, man.
He's arrested for domestic violence. And then now we have Namor as well, the actor playing him, accused of sexual violence and stuff like that. So, man, that is not good. They were just launching these characters, and then, like, they can easily recast Kang, though, because of the multiverse crap. Like, it's just fine. Like, you can figure it out.
Yes.
Like, he was a good actor, and I was excited for it, but I don't want some douchebag to have to watch for he's playing a villain, but I don't want him getting money. But DC, a lot going on there. Not necessarily good. The Flash just flopped, apparently, according to my YouTube job. I do videos about why the Flash flopped.
Wow.
And it's not, but I mean, it makes sense because Ezra Miller also douchebag, multiple arrests. And then also in the middle of them rebooting the DC universe completely, with James Gunn and Peter Safran, I think his name is. They're making Superman Legacy at the first movie of that, and then a new Batman with Batman Brave and the Bold. So everything's just starting again. It's like that seems like it'll start the fatigue big time, at least for DC.
Maybe. I mean, you're right. This is one of those like too big to fail, mixed feelings from everybody kind of movies, in that, you know, they got Michael Keaton back as Batman. They had, you know, like, who thought that would have happened? Yeah. And they got it for this movie. This should be a monumental blockbuster movie for them. And someone just shit in the middle of it. Yeah.
It was like COVID, Ezra Miller, and DC reboot all just fucked this movie over completely.
Dude, this should have been like their end game. This should have been, you know, their first Avengers. Like, you're right. This should have been that. And someone just took a dookie just right in the middle of it.
And the shame is, did you see it yet? Because I saw it.
Stork brought me a part of a copy I was able to watch. Not all of yet.
Okay, because it wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't, you know, one of the video I recorded said that it was like, it does the same trope again of the giant space laser, or sky laser. It's apparently they gave it a name now, kind of like Jumping the Shark. It's called the sky laser effect, where every big hero movie that's like the pinnacle, like an Endgame or something like that, always ends with a giant sky laser. They said, and this time they even used the same sky laser, because you see even in the trailer how he goes back in time from when what's his name? What's his name? The Superman villain guy.
Yeah, General Zod.
General Zod. He comes back with a giant space laser, and it's like, oh, it's the big space laser again. Great. And I won't give any spoilers away, but watch the end credit sequence, and it's nothing. It's just like, it's crap. So it's just like it was sort of like a fart in the wind. This movie, it could have been so much more. Especially with Michael Keaton, like you said. But I mean,
like, who would have thought that? Come on.
Yeah, and and also we will say that they did reboot like Spider-Man like 3 times within a decade, and the third one stuck. So maybe if they reboot Superman yet again within a decade and a half, it'll actually work. Who knows? But it is James Gunn. He seems to touch everything and turns to gold. So we'll see.
True. But here's the thing, though. I think that by James Gunn, we're not ever going to get like that typical Superman movie.
What do you mean by typical?
Like, I can't imagine him doing a Superman movie. Someone who's supposed to be wholesome, all-American, very middle of the road. Like,
he could definitely bring a lightness to it finally, because that's what he did with DC at first, was bring lightness to like the Suicide Squad movie and funny stuff. But yeah, you're right. He needs to be earnest. He needs to be sweet and kind and like the pinnacle of a good person, and not like a total goofball or making bad jokes.
And I might just be remiss because I just saw how he treated Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was 3. Pretty funny though.
But that same sort of idea, like almost that paladin, lawful, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that makes me nervous of how he would treat Superman.
Because he's supposed to be also pretty smart. He's not as smart as Batman, but he's supposed to be like, he's not an idiot like Adam Warlock was portrayed.
He's a reporter.
Yeah, he's got a good brain on his shoulders. He's mainly the tank, you know. He's not he's not a dumb lawful paladin. So that's definitely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure they'll never stop until the studios stop making money. Then they'll think about it.
Or my pockets run out of cash.
So that was a juicy topic. We could just go on, or do you want to do one more topic?
No, let's do one more.
All right, so I'll roll
the 20, I'll roll the 10.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. What is that? Okay, that is a 7, which is iconic sci-fi fantasy TV shows.
And I rolled a 5.
They're giving us softballs this time. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, number 5. So, what is your experience with Buffy the Vampire Slayer before I get into it?
Oh, man. Talk about like middle school Steve masturbation hour.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Sorry, I forgot this was Sappy Crab. Let's just be real.
Well, who was your main object of desire, we'll say, in the show?
Oh, man, there was always something hot to look at. All the vampire ladies were hot. Buffy was hot. All her friends were hot. It was good.
All her friends were hot. My favorite.
Was there ever an Uggo on that show? Tell me right now. There was never an Uggo on that show.
It's terrible. Oh, my favorite was probably Allison Hannigan playing her best friend. She's adorable and she's great in How I Met Your Mother. But then my biggest crush was Elijah Dushku or whatever, who went to do Dollhouse later on. But she was always kind of a badass and everything. But yeah, Allison Hannigan's just adorable. But yeah, like I love I watched that show all the way through when I first moved back to Florida in 2013 because I'd never seen it all the way through all by myself. And then when I started dating Jolie, her best friend is obsessed with Buffy because she's like the same age as Sarah Michelle Gellar. So she like was aging with her during the show. And so it was like her favorite show growing up. And so we started watching it with Jolie, who had never seen it before. So we got all the way through it and we're still currently in Angel. We're now watching the sequel series, Angel, or spinoff series.
Okay.
Which I thought was good too. It didn't have the same like 90s charm as as Buffy did. 'Cause it was a little later, but it's a lot of fun. And Giles, I think, is my favorite character now because I identify with him more because I'm older than all these. I could be their father, like at this point in the series.
Right.
And Giles was a badass, so
he was, dude. Giles doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, I love the sexy episode with him and Buffy's mom. They kind of get it on a little bit, so that's fun. But yeah, it was the whole Joss Whedon thing. He's now problematic, but I do think Buffy did a great thing putting strong female characters out there in TV and sci-fi and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But for Steve, the nuance is masturbation hour.
Hey, that and Xena was on a double on Sunday afternoons on TBS.
Her and it was TNT.
Don't ask me how I know.
Oh, it was TNT for sure, not TBS. I think
it was a double header.
But Gabrielle and Xena, oh man,
every Sunday.
They were just always looking longingly at each other. I'm like, those two are hitting it. Like, that is for sure.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of longing looks.
And then we go to Hercules show right after Xena or before Xena, and it was like Hercules and a little blonde guy. Like, those two were definitely doing it too. Remember that guy? He was his little sidekick, little blonde guy.
Yeah, too bad Kevin Sorbo ended up being a right-wing nut.
Oh, he's a total, MAGA head now. But anyways, I always watch those.
2 topics.
Those are great topics. All right. Thank you, Nerd Roll of Fortune. That brings us to some radical recommends.
I recommend.
If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
What do you recommend I do?
I recommend Pleasant.
I kind of, as a sub-recommend, of course, we talked about Diablo 4 earlier, and yes, it is fun, but make sure you're ready to delve into some complicated stuff. It's kind of a learning curve. But once you get into it, it'll finally get a little bit easier if you're a gamer at all, which I'm not really these days. So it was definitely a big learning curve for me. But now I'm watching Black Mirror's new season is out on Netflix. And I've always loved Black Mirror. But I like that they've kind of grown into where they definitely have some lighter hearted episodes mixed in with the really dark episodes. And this season is 5 episodes long. I've only watched 3 so far, but they're already a good mix and so many great cameos and actual casting of people you recognize almost everybody now. When they first started off, it was like all nobody actors from Britain that we as Americans have never seen before. But now it's like pretty much all-star cast because everybody wants to be in the show now. But yeah, highly recommend Black Mirror new season. Did you watch the previous ones?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay.
The only one I didn't watch all of was like the interactive one.
Oh, I did watch that one. That was fun.
Apple TV wasn't compatible, and I went, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. They had one on Netflix where you could like select what happened next, like a choose your own adventure thing in the show. It was really cool.
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch, yep. And this one, it has some episodes that just totally surprised me. Like I didn't see the twist coming and stuff, so it's kind of fun. So I definitely recommend some Black Mirror. Go for it.
All right.
Oh, trailer reviews.
Oh, trailer. Well, this week I chose. It's been a while since I've seen a trailer. I understand this little. So I chose Landscape with Invisible Hand.
Weird name.
A near future where social media dictates a large portion of society. Everyone has like implants on their heads, being forced to make content, or not forced, but coerced to make content. And there's like these weird alien things with floppy tentacle arms that do like hand jive to talk.
They
and for
their hands
some
together.
reason, this forced social media labor is for them.
I didn't see it as labor. It's more that the aliens find the concept of love entertaining. So like you can make money off of it by basically broadcasting your life to these aliens because they're so amused and interested in our lives because they're so foreign to them. So it wasn't like forced. You can just choose to do it if you want to make some extra cash.
It seemed like more than social pressure to me, but maybe I misread.
Maybe. Well, I mean, it's hard to say.
And this just looks weird. It's about these two young kids deciding whether they're in love or not. And
teen love.
This is a weird one, guys.
It looks like it has a big budget though, and it's from MGM, and it's I think it said it was from a popular book, apparently, probably one of those young adult novels that always get movie adaptations. But big budget, some recognizable faces for the parents and stuff. But yeah, I think it looks funny. It looks interesting. Teen actors look pretty good. Like they sound like they're good actors pretty much. The concept of the aliens that communicate by scraping their hands together and moving them around was pretty cool. Yeah, I think and that they like our love life as entertainment. Looks amusing to me, so I check it out. What do you rate this one, Steve?
I'm gonna give this one like a Gary Busey. He's in there taking an iPhone, like an old iPhone, and taping it to his forehead. Raul walks into the bathroom, flips the light on, and finds him doing this. He's like, "Come on, we gotta pretend to be in love for the aliens." And Raul just, I'll use the downstairs bathroom. And he flips the light off and just leaves.
Like, oh, it's Thursday. I forgot. Let me go back downstairs. I give this a Raul Julia on a date with a lovely lady. He hasn't been out in the dating field for a while. He's like, "Oh, hello. Very good to see you. Let's sit down and have this wonderful meal." And all of a sudden, Gary Busey jumps out of the bushes and goes, "I want to watch your love life."
It's interesting to me, you humans.
Gary, you are a human. I keep telling you this. So yeah, that's our reviews for Landscape with Invisible Hand, the terrible name. But
that's
for
right.
Our next time, in a couple of weeks, our next episode, in honor of the huge release of Barbie in theaters, we are, of course, reviewing Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. In our rare crossover of our standard movie review segments with the Rule of Three segment that you're all so familiar with, as this is technically the third movie in the Demonic Toys series. That's right. So
that's right. In honor of Barbie, we're reviewing Demonic Toys. And in honor of Rule of Three, Demonic Toys.
3.
It's going to be so bad.
It's going to be amazing. I love these.
It's going to be so
I love these bad movies so much.
And we found a way to like partner everything together. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to make things kiss. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. Puppets and demons.
Well, come on back for that. We'll be your nerdy co-hosts. You'll be our nerdy audience. Thanks again, Internet.
Stay nerdy, my friends.
Thanks for listening to A Play on Nerds. Feel free to email feedback at aplayonnerds.com with all your questions or comments.
Shoot us a message on Facebook or Twitter and earn yourself a sweet shout out on the show.
Review us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts so even more nerds can find us. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, we aren't picky.
Check out our entire back catalog and other offerings at aplayonnerds.com.
And how?